the silence, the sugar-coated lies. Another headline screaming behind vacant eyes. They build up their walls so high and so strong, but the truth's gonna break through before too long. Every single day, the same damn old game, pointing all the fingers, nobody takes the blame. This pressure's building, it's starting to crack. Ain't no turning back now, ain't no holding back. I'm about to say it, yeah, I'm about to scream. Tired of the fake smiles, living in a dream. The real life's bleeding out in the cold. Gotta break the mold, gotta let it unfold. I'm about to say it, every single word. The uncomfortable truth finally gonna be heard. I'm gonna say it.
Good morning, good morning. Welcome to hashtag I'm Gonna Say It. How's everybody doing? Come on in, keep coming in, keep coming in, keep coming in. First and foremost, let me thank all of you that has been coming into the show for the past few days. It's been a great show. I hope we can continue that. You're always welcome here, regardless of opinions or whatnot. You're always welcome here, right? It's a safe space. Oh, hold on, I forgot. Let me send some invites out to people so people don't get mad at me. 1 second. Sorry, I should have done this beforehand, but forgot. Okay. Well, yeah. Okay. Okay. Okay, I got them sent out. All right. All right. So today I'm gonna have to move kind of quickly because I gotta go and help my little sister move some stuff out of her house and help her paint and stuff like that. So Woods 1960 says my prayers go out to Puffy Jacket and everyone involved in this situation. Yes, absolutely. That's great. I'm glad you said that, Woods. I'm glad you said that. Regardless of what the charges are, regardless of what he's done or hasn't done, and just everybody that's got to go through it, man, and relive stuff that's traumatizing to them or whatnot. We want to pray for both sides. We're going to pray for both sides, right? But nonetheless, we do have a job to do here, and so we have to cover what we have to cover, and how it comes out is how it comes out. But like I said, I got to kind of move quickly because I got to help my little sister. I've been summoned by my little sister to help her move. So, hey, Bessie, grand rising to you. And so I want to get through these things I got to get through and make sure that I get going over to her house, all right, and help her with her things. So before we get started, let's do our disclaimer.
Welcome to hashtag I'm Gonna Say It. All things said in today's show are alleged and for entertainment and educational purposes only. If you are below the age of 18, we request that you leave the live now. Enjoy.
Okay, got that out the way. So now the first thing we want to do is we're going to play audio by Tisa Tales, and she's talking about pretty much what the Fed's plan is with Gina. Now, Gina was one of I put it like this. She was involved with Puffy Jacket, and allegedly she was pregnant at one point, and then he made her lose it and stuff like that. You understand? Yes. Someone said no respect. Son, how you doing, son? Good morning. No respect for violence, especially Puffy Jacket. I totally get it. I totally understand your perspective on that. I do and share with you on that. I agree. So this was the number three, the witness number three, who they said was missing and was going to testify, but then wasn't. So let's just hear what's being said about that, and then stick around because we got some more stuff to go
What's
into.
up, guys? How y'all doing today? Well, baby, if you are Mark Agnifilio, once again, it looks like you might have played your hand too far. Y'all, what am I talking about? First of all, I lost my microphone, so we're going to have to do this old school tattletales. I'm going to have to get right here so y'all hear me. Y'all, Diddy had the worst day ever in trial. Listen, F what those blogs are saying. Diddy got destroyed by that expert witness. They literally tried to do everything they can, and in real life, she came off as authoritative, in control, and explaining everything that happened with Cassie. But baby, that's not all. They said, the federal agents let us know, forget the baby oil. Diddy had mess in the eye drops. We're gonna get into that. Diddy had a whole pharmacy.
Dimple
He
Cheeks,
even
good
had
morning.
rocks in there. I said, is Diddy on no, but they said
Yes,
it was.
some of them are wilding out,
MDMA,
like, for real.
Rocks,
It's
like purple crystals.
it's
And I said,
depressing,
but why
really.
is it
I
in
mean,
crystals?
disappointing.
Why is it in Are you smoking MDMA? What is going on?
We
Diddy
love TikTok
had
Shop.
MDMA mixed with Colombian Dancey does, Xanax mixed with ketamine. It
We
was
love TikTok
a
Shop.
pharmacy in there. It was.
Oh, and hold on, because I'm a fair. I pride myself on being a fair host, a fair person. I want to extend an apology to Puffy Jacket. Wait a minute, now hold on. Y'all don't come through the phone and slap me. Here's what I'm saying. Dimple Cheek says, "OMG." At the end of the day, she is a victim. I agree with that. I agree, and we're gonna segment 2 is gonna try to break. We're gonna try to break that down for them Dimple Cheeks, and hopefully they'll get it by the end of that. Right? I'm hoping. I mean, we've been struggling and trying to get it that way, but hopefully this information will help them a little bit. But I want to apologize to Puffy Jacket for the simple fact I've been participating in the jokes and making the jokes and laughing at the jokes about the baby oil. And it has come to light that the baby oil wasn't tainted. So I apologize for that and my role in that. But he's still not off the hook. I'm going to let y'all listen. He's still not off the hook. It's just not the baby oil.
Was literally something from the island of Doctor Strange. But the best part is Diddy's team actually outsmarted themselves. They literally stood up in court talking about Gina's not coming. And I said, well, Mark Agnifilio, first of all, calm yourself. That's what Judge Aaron said. But second of all, how y'all know Gina's not coming? How y'all know what Gina's not doing? How y'all know Gina's not showing up?
I think CSU is the right fit for me because
to talk about this because honestly, I think Diddy actually really played himself on this one. If you guys don't know, I'm in court Monday through Friday. I know all over everybody got a different opinion, but I'm telling you what I see with my own eyes and ears, and I'm telling you, it's not hitting the way you think it's hitting in live tweets. Make sure y'all follow, and I do a bunch of updates, but let's get into the
Dimple Cheek says, I am not uneducated. I am not visually or audio impaired. Cassie owned up to her part. She did. She did. And what is it? 1, 2. On the third segment, when we listen to the audio, I mean, we're going to hear what she said as far as, well, not necessarily said, but what she put in the text. But you're right, Bessie. She did own up to her part in what she did. But I hope in the second segment, when we play that second segment, it will help people understand why she did what she done, right? Yes, they're dragging a lot of people on the platform are dragging her and through the mud, and it's
Gina stuff because baby,
depressing.
this is wild. Okay, so where are we? Oh. So when it comes to the Diddy mess, y'all check this out. Because I actually need to read from the transcript. Diddy is a fool, okay? So it started with Mark Agnifilio, okay? So the lawyers were like, okay, so Yeah. We have this testimony from Gina. She did it before she went missing. Why don't we just submit this so we can read it in court? Mark Agnifilio, Yana, the prophet, there was an email chain that Gina had, I guess, with the U.S. attorneys or like whatever, right? Because they're like, we don't need you to testify. And also, they were like, Mark Agnifilio, y'all been... Gina. It is like an episode of Martin in there. Y'all been talking about Gina so much. When Cassie's on the stand, this and that, y'all brought Gina up. So since we want to talk about Gina, let's talk about Gina and what she said in the emails. So Mark Agnifilio was like, Yana, the proper email chain is about Gina, and Gina is out of the case. She's not coming. Oh, but listen, here's what happened because I was in court, right? Okay, right? Welcome to my dirty room, right? They was like, Gina, like it was an episode of Martin, right? So they're talking, and the prosecution, because they know they got this, they're just like, can we submit the evidence? And all of a sudden, out the blue, Mark Agnifilio jumps up, because I got to do this justice. Mark Agnifilio jumps up and was like, Yana, the proper email chain is about Gina. And listen, look. He hit the thing. Hold on.
I agree.
Look, Gina's out of the case. Gina's
I agree with
not
you.
coming.
Philly, good morning. Thank you for coming back and
He
joining
said,
us.
Gina's out of the case. Gina's not coming. She's not coming, right? And literally everybody in the court, at least me, was like, how y'all know Gina's not coming? And the prosecution literally looked at Mark jumping up. Gina's not coming. He was putting on this show. The prosecution looked at Mark Agnifilio and said, but Gina's in the indictment, right? So then Agnifilio was like, Yana, they could get...
The reason why that makes it look bad, or what she's trying to say, the reason she's saying the defense team looked bad is because they kept saying that Gina wasn't coming, as if they already knew. Now, the bad thing about that is that would be them admitting to contacting witnesses before the trial or during the trial, right? I think it was before, right? And so that would be them basically trying to force or make or intimidate. I'm not saying that they did, but in any event, they have already contacted it and got it squared away to where that witness won't come testify.
Get her here.
And that's not something that's supposed to
choosing
do.
not to. I'll submit a letter by 10 p.m. Now let me tell you what I think what's going on, because I truly believe that Mark Agnifilio is the king of the legal finesse. Even though Judge Arun is getting sick of Mark's mess, baby. And we love to see it, right? Again, he's gotten on to Mark Agnifilio's little legal finesse. Mark Agnifilio has mastered the whole, golly shucks, I don't know what I'm doing, even though he is a legal shark. But it gets old after a while when you watch him. Like, Mark, we see you for your works. Like, just take the mask off and show us your teeth. Anyway, here's what I think the plan was. Their plan was, first they tried to be like, Victim 3 flipped. Because don't forget they made a release that. And Mark Agnifilio just confirmed that Victim 3 is Gina. Mark Agnifilio...
Right, Bestie. That's exactly what...
Gina. And,
indirectly, they didn't mean to,
Gina
but they pretty much told on themselves.
Like, I'm not testifying, and I never want to testify. Y'all made me testify. While the feds is holding on to everything. And I hope to God, if Cassie got $20 million, I hope to God Diddy at least gave Gina $10 million. But something tells me the way she was windmilling with Young Miami and still had carpet on her floors from 1970, something tells me all Diddy gotta do is give her a kiss on the forehead and a pat on the head. And Gina, I really honestly feel like Gina has trauma bonded with that man so much. And
hey,
I
good morning,
wonder
Bessie.
about
How
her
you doing,
family
Sharita?
Support system. I'm not even shading. Like, do you have anybody to help you through this tough time? And again, everybody's family is a little bit dysfunctional. But with Gina and the Diddy and the trauma bond, it makes me wonder, does the dysfunction outweigh the love? Because the people that pull through, the love outweighs the dysfunction in their family. But anyway, right? Something tells me Gina ain't getting nothing but a 2-piece biscuit from Popeyes, and she probably had to go pick it up. Diddy probably didn't
That's
even
crazy.
DoorDash
That's
it to her.
insane.
I think she getting a thank you. But anyway, right? They
That's
said
funny.
they could get her here. So y'all brought up Gina, And you did it because you're trying to bait the prosecution. First, Gina said she didn't want to be there. Diddy tried to get his search warrant thrown out, saying that it was based on information from people that weren't really mad at him. Okay, Diddy. Then, right? Then, I think the second thing they're trying to do is they're trying to bait the prosecution into bringing Gina. So when Gina comes, she can be like, what? What are you talking about? Gina, is it not true that you enjoyed? Yes, I participated in lots of freak offs. Gina, is it not true that this is what you did in a consensual relationship? Absolutely. I loved every moment of the freak offs. Is it not true that everybody was consensual? Absolutely. They think that they're going to get the prosecution.
Thank you for the
to
rose,
force
Philly.
to
I
bring Gina
appreciate
in because
that.
The defense
Thank you.
brings her in. And she testifies on Diddy's side because the defense mounts their arguments the last 2 weeks of trial. Everybody's gonna roll their eyes like, Gina, you clearly flipped for Diddy. It clearly looks like that. So you need prosecution to bring her in. So Gina can say some dumb stuff on the stand, and then you can be like, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this
She
is what a
plays
good
Agnophilia
woman
so
looks
good.
like. She is a dum-dum that got abused. She is a dum-dum that did this and that. And she is a dum-dum because a good woman acts for nothing, gives everything, and in the end...
Shira
did y'all read the
95,
book about
welcome
the Giving
in.
Tree? Diddy's team is literally acting like to be in a relationship.
Amanda
with
Sweet
Diddy,
Treats,
you gotta
welcome
be a
in. Good
Giving
morning to
Tree.
you.
And y'all know what it is. The Giving Tree gave everything they had until there was a stump, and then the Giving Tree was just.
I believe
happy
so,
that the
Dimple
little boy
Cheeks.
sat on
I
the
think that's
stump
how I
of
think that's
what
how it's
they
gonna
once
go.
were, and like was just sat there and pondered. And
Thank
they
you
were
for
like,
that daily
and
heart,
finally,
me,
Gina
Amanda
is
Sweet
the Giving
Treats.
Tree. Anyway, right? They think they're setting a trap for the prosecution. The prosecution said, what trap? How about we just read the emails that Gina told us and what she's gonna say? So Mark says around 10, he's gonna offer some evidence that couldn't be it. On another note, right? The Homeland Security officer discovered bottles of eye drops, right? Everybody looking at the baby oil, they need to be looking at those eye drops. This ain't a good day for Diddy. Diddy let us know he be walking around dressed like a Muslim woman from the neck up. Booty butt, booty butt, booty butt, naked on the neck down. I'm not joking. The Smex worker said he comes
Just
in a
opening up
burqa
trial with
and a
foolery,
hijab.
but
All you
as
see
it
is
winds
this.
down, we are going
and
to
from the
learn
neck
more.
down, he is completely
Yeah, I
naked,
think that's
walking
gonna be
around
the
with a bottle
arrangement. I
of
think that's how they're
Astroguide,
leading.
pacing. And then the Fed said they tested the eye drops. And forget about the baby oil having something in. We were wrong. I thought the baby oil had something in it. It's not the baby oil. The eye drops was laced with. The eye drops was laced with MDMA, and
We love
ecstasy.
TikTok Shop.
So there was something laced with MDMA at the
We love
freak
TikTok
off.
Shop.
But that's when Diddy was passing around his Lumenfi eye drops. Why would you? Well, I already know why you lacing the eye drops, but that's diabolical. You walking around with burqa, only thing we see is your eyes, and you putting ketamine and MDMA.
We love
while you
TikTok
walking
Shop.
around booty butt naked, y'all. Listen, this was a bad day for Diddy. The witness whooped your butt. The prosecutor.
All right, that's that. So that is big because they're not supposed to be contacting any witnesses. And even though it hasn't been proven that they did that per se by anybody else, the way that they were just adamant about saying she's not going to make it, Agnophilia was adamant about saying Gina's not going to make it. It appeared that they knew beyond a shadow of doubt that she wasn't going to make it. And how would they know if she was going to come or to trial or not? So that backfired on them because now you pretty much are saying that you are tampering with witnesses. You can't do that. Philly says, Puffy Jacket on a whole different level. Yeah, he absolutely is. Okay. I'm assuming when she was naming the stuff. Marco, the handy guy. People hung out with Puffy Jacket to get paid. When that didn't happen, now they all coming out crying. How about I'll meet you in the middle? I say some are, but others I don't think so. I don't think everybody's doing that. I don't. But I'll meet you halfway. Some are. I do believe that some are. Dimple Cheek says Puffy Jacket made promises that he didn't keep. Yeah, and made some people upset that he shouldn't have made upset. And let's remember, Frame greetings. Thank you for that daily heart me. I appreciate it. Thank you. Let's remember today, Kid Cudi got kicked out. People, they paused it again on us. Don't know why. I do know why. I do know why. I do know why. But uh yeah, that was TT that did that best. It wasn't me. Um but he's supposed to take the stand. And now I think today, by him taking the stand, we will gradually slash swiftly, if that's possible to do both, gradually slash swiftly start getting to the Ricardo part of everything. You see what I'm saying? Dimple Cheek says this is a man who had the means, the money, and connections. So yes, people flock to him. Right? It's not a, it's not bad. Like I don't know. That's brought up as if it's bad or like it's a bad thing, but it's not. And also when people bring it up, we have to keep in perspective that he did promise people dreams and fortune of making it in the business that they wanted to be in or aspired to be in, as far as being singers, rappers, or modeling, right? And so when you have a person that made it, and they're coming to you and telling you that you're good enough to make it and achieve this, and they are willing to help you get there, I mean, they're not wrong for doing that. They're not wrong for doing that. You see what I'm saying? Jenny says he wanted to be like his pops and live out that fantasy. I do agree. I do agree. He wanted to live that life because now we know. What did Big Gene say the other day? He keep claiming Harlem, but he's not from Harlem. He can't go back there. You see what I'm saying? He can't go hang out there. And that's words from Big Gene, not me. All right. So the second thing, because I know I said I gotta keep it moving so I can go help my little sister. But second thing, and
We apologize in advance for the next segment as it may cause trigger warnings.
all right, so we want to advise you of that. Jenny, Dimple Cheeks, I know you all are coming on May 31st for the show, and you will be my special guest. This next segment, what I hope, what I pray, is that when we're listening to a professional break it down exactly why she stayed or why Cassie stayed, why Cassie came back, stuff like that. I just hope people can listen with an open mind to what she's saying and pay attention to what she's describing makes a person a victim. Okay? It makes them a victim. So I'm hoping people can listen and comprehend and understand what she's saying. Again, this may cause trigger warning for people. And I would like to apologize in advance. And I want you to know that I do this in peace. I do this out of love. And that's the only reason I'm playing it, to try to enlighten people on how victims are damaged. Okay? And the things that happen to them that makes them basically disassociate themselves disassociate themselves from reality, to where they don't know, or they don't possess the strength to leave. And when they do and they come back, a lot of times, just listen, okay? Just know this comes from a place of caring. And for those, like I was saying, Jenny and Dimple Cheeks, by you all, and I hate the thought of this. I really hate the thought of it. But the fact that you all have been in this situation before, I'm apologizing to you all. And I hope you all know that I come from peace. I come from a kind heart and from caring and caring about people. This is why I'm playing this.
It's day 8 of the Diddy trial, and Dr. Dawn Hughes is giving her expert testimony against Diddy. And I'm sure you guys remember her from the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp trial. Now, her testimony won't be solely on Diddy and all 4 of his victims, but it will be on the psychological aspects of how victims go back to abusers. The government called Dr. Dawn Hughes and asked her, "What is your profession?" "I am a clinical and forensic psychologist. I treat people who were in World War II. It was such an honor." "How many times have you testified in court?" 60 or 65 times in the Southern District of New York, the Eastern District of New York, and the Northern District. We are offering Dr. Hughes as an expert. What do you anticipate uncovering? Why victims stay? Memory. Have you been retained by the government? Yes. What is your hourly rate? $600. $600 for the day in court. Why do victims stay? There are psychological bonds and psychological consequences of abuse. What are the levels of fear? It ranges from physical violence to butterfly violence. It doesn't have to happen all of the time. What is psychological violence? Intimidation, throwing things, telling you what you can do and where you can go. The defense yells objection, and the judge said that he's going to strike that last answer. What can be the role of SA? It puts the victim in significant psychological fear. Why does it prevent leaving? Shame. They don't want to think about it. What is emotional abuse? Putting down our partner, feeling like a piece of crap. What about financial dependence? The abuse controls housing and transportation, taking away her laptop. You familiar with love bombing? That honeymoon phase. The abuser showers her with gifts and affection to get her back. Does the attempt to leave happen over time? Yes, it takes multiple attempts. Which is the most common coping mechanism? Trying to work it out because the trauma bond. You don't want to lose your partner. Personal coping mechanisms. How do they work? We try to avoid abuse. Is minimization. The victim says maybe they had a bad day at work. Maybe they were intoxicated. It's a way to stay in the relationship, but it increases their risk. It's not a long-term strategy. It gets from one episode to the next. What about the power relation? A person can have power as principal of a school. The victim asks, who's going to believe me? When does the victim finally speak? In a safe environment or after psychological help? What type of language do victims use when they first speak of it? They minimize. They piecemeal. They remember the chipping of paint on a ceiling, the smell of alcohol on the perpetrator's breath. Then it gets sent for cross-examination to Diddy's team. Your clients, you observe them closely, their cognitive style. Yes. People don't fit into boxes, right? There are categories. But you have to listen to particular individuals, right? I'm not divorced from my training. When you do forensic work, you want a lot of sources of information, right? If it's relevant. You look at police reports and witnesses' reports, correct? Correct. You're familiar with malingering? I am. And malingering means that you're exaggerating your story or what you went through. So Diddy's team is trying to say that these victims are exaggerating their experiences. People can fabricate emotional responses, correct? They can. You're with the American Psychological Association, which says you should only render an opinion after examination, right? Where? This is a different role. You have not gathered information about this case, right? I am not rendering an opinion on any individual. Someone named Cassie, but you don't know what she said, right? I don't. You testified across the river in the Eastern District of New York, right? Right. And you say the same thing, even though those cases are different, correct? It's to help the jurors understand. But it's their job to consider the case, right? You don't have to publish data on the patients that you have evaluated, do you? It's confidential. So I can't cross-check your experiences, the basis of what you're saying, right? People might go to a civil lawyer to make a little money, right? The government yells objection, and the judge said, let's move on. In civil litigation, you might look for malingering, right? You gave a webinar about giving expert witness testimony, right? Yes, for battered women. This document refresh your recollection? Let me look at it more closely. Yes. The fourth part is navigating cross-examination, right? Yes. Most of your income comes from court-related work, right? No, maybe half. You raised your rate to $600? It's been the same for some time. but you raised it commensurate with others. You've been retained 100 of times, but you've never come into court and testified in the defense of a man accused of a S crime. That's correct. I don't evaluate offenders. You met with the prosecution 6 times to prepare your testimony, right? Correct. Did you discuss the topics with the prosecutors? With all due respect, it was mostly me educating them. But you know nothing about the case you were advising them or how to present evidence in domestic violence cases. Didn't you help them write briefs? And then the government asks for a sidebar. Then it gets redirected back to the government. You reviewed some filings to the court in this case. It was all related to the subject of your expert testimony, right? Correct. In fact, we redacted. You did. You're a board-certified forensic psychologist, right? Yes. How many of those are in New York State? I think about 40. Then it gets redirected back to Diddy's team. Your defense work is almost entirely for victims of domestic violence, right? I'm not sure that's true. You worked with Brian Steele, who was defending a woman charged with reacting to domestic violence, right? Yes. Brian Steele decided not to use you after meeting with you, and the judge said, move on. And Diddy's team then said, no further questions. And that's the end of Dawn Hughes' expert testimony.
Okay, so I'm hoping, I'm praying that just listening to some of the things that the expert stated helps people who feel like Cassie stayed because she wanted to. I hope it gave you a little or a better glimpse into the mentality of how a victim thinks or feels. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm hoping that was my reasoning for selecting to play that, and I hope it worked. I hope it works. Some people are just not going to, and day by day, I'm learning to just accept that part. They're just, you know, and there's, I mean, they just view it differently for whatever the reason. But I was hoping that I pray that helps. All right, now the third segment we're going to go into. Tommy, okay, I got like 30 minutes. Okay, all right. So hold on. Jenny says we have to remember that grown men were afraid of puffy jackets, so why wouldn't ladies? Yes, that is a very vital and accurate point, Bestie. If grown men felt this way and was in fear of him, what you expect from a lady? Z says, thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. And again, I apologize if it may have been triggering to anyone or, you know, anything like that. That is by far not what I'm trying to do. But I am trying to advocate for victims, DV victims, SA victims. I am trying to advocate. I am trying to educate those who choose to re-victimize victims. Because, and you know what? I don't even think they intend to do it. I just think they do it based off of the lack of knowledge of or the lack of experience from it. You get it? But I don't want that to be the reason why. Like, I had a football coach in high school, and we used to go to him, and whenever we had a problem, he was like our father. I mean, I had my dad, but I'm saying like at school and even outside, he was like a father, another father figure to a lot of us. And I remember the one thing he said, and I don't remember much, but I do remember the one thing he said, and this was 1994. He did say, he who asks is a fool for a moment. He who never asks remains a fool forever. And that's always stuck with me. And so I played that to try to help people who don't understand. You can just ask questions. You don't have to just continuously view it from your perspective. You have to accept that you very well could be viewing it the wrong way. You see what I'm saying? So that's where that's coming from. Dimple Cheek says, I cannot wait for next Saturday. I have so much to say. It is so hard to convey in typing. Yes, I can. I'm looking forward to next Saturday. Like, I am completely, and again, you all, I feel for you guys. It's like an extended family members to me. So I hate to hear about the pain you had to endure. but I champion the reasons why you all are doing it, right? As far as reliving you guys' traumatic experiences in hopes of educating other people and helping those that may reside in that situation right now. Like, that's powerful. And I appreciate that. Z says, so people are confused, which is okay because that means they haven't or wouldn't experience that. Right, right. And so what I'm saying is, instead of going about it and just saying she's not a victim, let's ask questions because we haven't been through it. Z says, so it's that you're bringing, it's love that you're bringing light to try to put people, I'm sorry. Oh, to let people, I'm sorry, I couldn't see. Let people see from the survivor's perspective. Absolutely. And Z, I hope you join us next Saturday at 8 p.m. on here for that show. I pray that you come in and join us. And that's all we're trying to do here. We're trying to educate and, if at all possible, prevent anyone from going through it again. British Rose, welcome in, says, I'm a survivor. You go through all kinds of emotions. Exactly. Exactly. Let's try to understand instead of ridicule. You know, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that at all. At all. That's not fair. Right? All right. So the third segment we're about to go into. Let's first, before we even get started with it, let's make sure we all say a prayer for Salt and Pepper. Z says, I grew up with it. Never thinking it could happen to me, but it did. And see, see, I hate to hear that, Z, and I hope and pray that you know you are a survivor. Just like the other women that's going to come up on the panel, you're a survivor. And I pray that you don't let it define who you are, because you're still a good person. Nothing was your fault, and you're still a good person, and you still have a lot to accomplish in life. And you, even though you did go through that, I want you to know you can still help someone else and prevent them from going through the same thing. Let's pray. Let's pray for Salt and Pepper. Let's pray for Salt and Pepper, because they are basically going after. Bella says, I appreciate seeing a man speaking out for victims. Thank you so much, Bella. Thank you. I appreciate that so much. I'm trying to do the best I can with, with what I've experienced. Not me personally, but someone I love dearly and wholeheartedly went through it. And so I was once a person that wasn't wise enough, smart enough, or, informed enough to understand how to deal. And this is a person that I really, really love. This is a person who gave me 5 beautiful children, and I still was talking to her like in the beginning. I wasn't there for her like I should have been there for her. You see what I'm saying? I was more so re-victimizing her. And I'm thankful that she took the time to at least not push me away, not hate me, but yet educate me and allow me to slowly get to a point where I understood where she's coming from. God rest her soul. I miss her daily. Green Eyed Devil says, all these people question why she stayed. Obviously has never been in an abusive relationship. I agree with you on that. I don't wish it on them. I don't wish it on them. But I do wish that they would just stop and just feel the vibration. Pay attention. Let's channel the energy. Like, don't just accuse. Don't just make off the wall comments. But try to find out what was the variables, or what was the things that all went into play that made her stay. You see what I'm saying? Shira, 95, how you doing? That or that kind of abuse has been normalized for them. And it's a scary thing. It's a scary thing. It really is. It's a scary thing that has to become considered normal, and when it's not, right? It is. So, Salt and Pepper are suing UMG, and we know artist that just recently passed away not too long ago, and we are still suspect about that, was speaking out against the same record label and was going to sue them, or was suing them, for her money. And in doing so, she met an untimely demise, right? And so that's why I said pray for them. Also, in this same thing that I'm about to play, I wish I could remember the people that were on the show a few days ago when we were speaking about how can I say his name? When we were speaking about the usher at the ball game, or the usher that was at Puffy Jacket's house when he was younger, and something happened that to where that usher had to be rushed to the hospital because something traumatic happened to his back door. Are y'all with me? Yes, Dimple Cheeks. As far as the Salt and Pepper and the record group that they are suing, yeah, Banji Sloan, right? I like that. Okay, we use that, Banji Sloan. Yeah. They ushered him to the hospital after being around Puffy Jacket, right? And remember when we talked about that a few days ago, I had a few people in here, and I wish I would have remembered their names, but they told me I was a lie, and they told me that didn't happen, and that would be against the law for it to be out, and this and this and that, and they just kept going on. I wish they were in here now, and I wish I could remember their names to know if they were in here, but I don't think they are, but I wish they was, because if that was a lie, what do you think, and I want you to focus on the timing too, but what do you think Child Davis paid a settlement to that usher and his mom prior to Puffy Jacket's trial starting? Marcos, the handy guy, says, yeah, a bodyguard said Puffy Jacket made him bleed out of the back door. Yeah, well, guess what, Marco? I brought that up and was proving a point on the show a couple of days ago, and people were like, that was a lie. And of course, people, they don't state why Child Davis paid an usher and his mother a settlement prior to the trial starting, Puffy Jacket's trial starting. But this comes to where, this is when we say you got to use common sense. This is pretty much what I'm talking about. All these years, this never happened. And then right before the trial starts for this guy, Child Davis pays settlement money, or I'm going to call it hush money, to an usher and his mother. Jeannie says, just like Child Davis did to his artist and groomed Puffy Jacket too. That part. And so what was he doing? Knowing that his little protege was going to stand trial for the things that he's standing trial for. Listen, please. Let me give you this amount of money, and you just don't say nothing. Stay far away from the trial against my protege here, and also don't testify. Don't say what all went on back when that usher was 14 and was hanging out with Puffy Jacket, and the back door got traumatized. You see what I'm saying? Wrap this up real quick, man, because apparently the platform is just not liking the truth that I'm spewing. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and hopefully the verbiage that they use is straight. You understand? I hope, but let's listen.
You got knocked the out, man.
What's going on, y'all? And
Oh, and before I play this, he's gonna mention some things about Cassie too. So let's just, and what we was talking about earlier at the end of the previous segment. You know, he's one of these people.
happy Tuesday. I hope everybody out there is feeling fantastic this morning. Now, with all of that said, let's go ahead and jump off into these topics. And the first thing I want to discuss is this situation that's going down with Salt-N-Pepa. So if you haven't heard, this fantastic duo took the courageous steps to actually sue Universal Music Group. And we know who had an issue with this same label right before they unfortunately passed away, and that would be Miss Angie Stone. Now, with Salt-N-Pepa suing UMG, their main objective is to retain the rights to their master recordings. And in fact, they're invoking the Copyright Act of 1976, which allows artists to terminate previous agreements and regain control of their recordings after several decades. Now, what's interesting about this dynamic is the fact that the duo filed to terminate their old deal back in 2022, but UMG was like, not so fast. We're not going to honor it. So UMG's response was to pull Salt-N-Pepa's music from all streaming platforms. Now, UMG is playing the dirty games that they normally play. In fact, they're dragging Salt-N-Pepa through the absolute mud on this, indicating within the lawsuit that they will hold, or better yet, shelve Salt-N-Pepa's music, even if it means tanking the value of their music catalog and depriving their fans of access to their work. Now, Salt-N-Pepa argues that this is why the copyright law exists, given the fact that these types of disputes and conflicts happen between artists and record labels all the time, and they're saying that they just want what rightfully is owed to them. Now, the premise of this argument that's being made by Salt-N-Pepa is based off the fact that they signed early contracts, and they're saying that they're now legally entitled to own songs from their 1986 debut album, which was titled Hot, Cool, and Vicious, and they believe they should own the rights to songs like Push It, Shoot, and What a Man. And so they're seeking actual punitive damages along with a permanent injunction to confirm their rights. And the lawsuit that they filed against UMG estimates their financial losses could easily exceed $1 million. Now, here is where it gets super interesting and sticky at the same time, because UMG is claiming that Salt-N-Pepa doesn't have a claim, because according to UMG's attorneys, they're saying that Salt-N-Pepa were not direct parties in the original 1986 agreement, and the music was considered work for hire, which means it's a classification that will block any attempt to reclaim rights, and Salt-N-Pepa, they strongly dispute that. Now, as far as Spinderella is concerned, she was not involved in this lawsuit.
Shout out to Spinderella,
Dee Roper. Recording contracts at the center of this dispute. So once again, we have artists that should be living somewhere comfortable, not saying that they don't have any money, but they should be living somewhere comfortable off of the music that they've made, and now you have the label that is trying to block them from driving off into the sunset financially stable. So ultimately, I hope that Salt-N-Pepa comes out at the end of the tunnel victorious in all of this. And let me just say this right here and right now, no weird shit better happen to Salt-N-Pepa. No mysterious car crashes, hospitalizations, so forth and so on. But anyway, let's move along, and I want to talk about the Diddy trial yet again. Now, I'm hearing from someone from a major network that's covering the case, and they're on the grounds of this trial, that Dawn Rashad shouldn't have even showed up for court. They said that it was an absolute mess. She wasn't prepared, and that Diddy's defense, they really went at her and basically dusted her in the courtroom. They found so many holes and inconsistencies in her story, and all she could say, well, I'm having a hard time remembering and things of that nature. But they weren't buying it. They felt that she was up there just spewing out nonsense and not having the facts together, or not having facts at all, because none of this transpired. And in fact, when Dawn first testified on Friday, Diddy filed a motion that same day to have her removed from the trial altogether, but the judge moved forward and felt that it was necessary for Dawn to testify because she testified on yesterday. Now, Dawn recounted a story where there was an incident where Diddy took a swing at Cassie with a skillet or whatever and told Dawn and another woman that if they told anybody about what they saw, basically that they could end up DEAD. Now, I want to ask you guys something. Don't you find it extremely weird that Aubrey O'Day isn't testifying? I understand that she has to be subpoenaed to testify, but she's been leading the charge, one of the individuals that have been leading this charge of trying to expose Diddy. And in my estimation, I'm going to just keep it real. She was saying a bunch of nothing. And listen, feel free to drop down in the comments and educate me.
I mean, Gina Bella, I wish Gina didn't back out too.
Was so groundbreaking.
She could have offered
as it
so much
pertains to
context
Diddy
to
because
this
I
trial.
haven't heard it. Now, I've heard things about her saying that if you don't agree with him, tires could be slashed, this, that, and the third, but it was nothing that was so alarming that made me pay attention to anything that she was saying. And if I'm being honest, she just came across bitter to me that she was kicked out of the group. I'm just keeping it all the way real, but all of a sudden she just said on a podcast a couple of days ago that somebody within the group told her that something may have happened to her when she wasn't coherent, and now she's investigating. You ain't got nothing. And listen, if I'm wrong, I'll stand corrected, but I just feel like when I look at Aubrey, it's obvious that she has privilege. And if anything sinister happened to her, would have definitely subpoenaed her to testify against Diddy with the quickness. Now, the one thing that I will say that I admire about Aubrey is the fact that she didn't let Diddy break her. She was strong, she was courageous, and she just didn't let Diddy affect her to the magnitude that she was just going to break down and fold on national TV. So shout out to Aubrey for the strength that she showcased and exuded, because her inability to conform to Diddy's wishes is what disrupted his soul. And that's why she was kicked out ultimately.
Man, I forgot
anyway,
about
let's
her.
move along because I'm pretty sure some of the women want to know who was some of these workers that performed at these freak-offs with Diddy and Cassie, and the first person being
they should that's Marco, that's somebody they should have subpoenaed like right off rip. Like she should have been one of the first. I forgot about that, brother. I'm glad you brought that up.
And I'm starting at the top left-hand corner. His name was Skylar, of course, Jonathan Oddie, and then Ash, and then Brian.
I'm showing pictures of all the guys that was Smex
and
workers
then Jake,
that they hired.
And then Johnny, Jules, and the rest of the guys are unidentified. So
yeah, and that's the same thing that
yet, but
the girl that Marco talking about
them, if they subpoena these guys to actually talk about their experiences with Diddy and Cassie. But anyway, let's
Good morning,
move along,
Carlos. How you doing, brother?
Interesting came out in court.
We're almost wrapping up.
That a lot of people are not talking about, and it has to do with a freak-off request extended from Diddy to Cassie. I want you guys to check out what Miss Lloyd had to say about the situation, and I'll be back.
Another bombshell that came out today in Cassie's testimony was that before the Intercontinental freak-off that we've all seen the video from, she initiated the freak-off in the text message. But here's what's interesting. She had testified originally that she didn't want to do it because she had her music premiere. However, there is a text message where she tells him, we can make it a short freak-off. We just need to be there for a few hours. We can take and hydrate afterwards so that way we can continue on.
Pause, because people are going to say, aha, I told you. She wanted it. Hold on, let me get him right.
Aha, I told you she not a victim. She wanted to do it. They said it right there. She just said that if you check the text messages, she said that we could do a quick one.
Okay, yeah, you did hear that. But how you skip over the part where in the beginning she said no, she didn't want to do it. So if you're going to use part of the context, we got to use all of the context. And so she said she didn't want to do it in the beginning, initially, which means it shouldn't have went any further. But, however, due to some of the things that she faced when she did say no, she didn't want to use that or have to go through that again. And is she wrong for not wanting somebody to hit on her, a man to hit on her? No. Carlos says they only hear what they want to hear. Facts, brother. All the time. All the time. And now, we just played, was in the segment prior to this, you just heard an expert explain to you why all of that is. She put we play after put it like this after this show today. If people been listening and want to call her a victim, say she's not a victim. If you've been listening to today's show and what we play after this, you have no reason to say that no more. If you do, it's because you choose to do that. That's on you. We've already gotten shut down twice just for spreading the truth here. So you can't tell me we're not doing our due diligence to try to help you understand. And we haven't provided you. We provided you with stuff that would help you understand. But you got to be willing to accept the information that you've been given. You understand? All right.
That's extremely interesting because Cassie tried to make it seem like she was being forced to do that freak off. Now, she didn't deserve what happened in that hallway whatsoever, right? Diddy was wrong. Throw him under the jail. He settled for $20 million, whatever the case may be, right? But at the end of the day, she tried to paint this picture like she was being coerced, forced, and manipulated to do it, when in all actuality, all Cassie did was create a paper trail on her damn self by texting and agreeing to participate in these freak-offs. But anyway, let's move along because Gene Deal was on the scene, right? Gene Deal was at the Diddy trial on yesterday, and I want to play you an interaction he had with a TikToker, and he gave his 2 cents on the situation dealing with Diddy. Check it out, and I'll be back.
Let me tell you why we have commercial. I'm on a video.
Literally just stepping out of court. This is crazy, guys. I was in the actual courtroom. I got in there, my man KK, it worked. Diddy made eye contact with me, looked at me and waved hello. He looked around and waved hello to me. Oh my God, this is crazy. So lots of stuff happening. Dawn Richard took the stand again. And guys, I hate to say it, the lawyer for Diddy, Miss Westmoreland is her name. She's a bulldog. I told her that. I saw her out in the hallway during a break. I was like, you are good. And she's like, thank you. But I mean, Miss Westmoreland destroyed Dawn Richards on the stand. I hate to say it, but that's what everybody coming out is going to say, that Dawn Richard was just totally discredited on the stand. Why? Because she had 8 different meetings with the feds, the government. Oh man, is that Gene Deal?
Yes.
Can I say hey to you for a second on my TikTok? Guys, this is Gene Deal.
It definitely sounds like
I've been reporting on you for a while, man. I'm Secret Service Sam. Guys, this is Gene Deal. Gene Deal, how are you feeling, my friend? Give my Patriots an exclusive. What do you think's going on in there? Guys, Gene Deal is the main man. He's the bodyguard. He has been the one leading the entire front on this Diddy campaign. That's it, right? Right? I mean, besides Jaguar Wright, you're the most credible person we have. You're Diddy's ex-bodyguard. Tell the folks, man. You don't want to say much? Come on, Gene.
You already did it, Playboy.
Come on, Gene. You're always saying something. Give him something here. What do you think? You think Diddy's going to get off, or you think what are we looking like?
I think the prosecution is doing a great job. They need to keep up the good work.
Right.
I think they went real lenient on them because they could have hit them with way more charges.
Right.
Than they did, and that's it.
What do you think about Dawn Richard? Miss Westmoreland was like, the lawyer was destroying her on the stand, her credibility. She had 8 different times she met with the feds, and they're like, why did you not mention anything about Diddy threatening your life and all that time? Do you believe Dawn Richard?
A lot of people are traumatized, man. You know, you got to look at it that way. You know what I'm saying? You got to look at something that this guy holding their life in their hands.
Right, and that makes a difference. Hey, I appreciate you, man.
Right.
Thank you for everything you do. All right. Thank you. Guys, that's Gene Deal. Thank you. Okay. Oh, that's an exclusive. Hey, how are you doing? Thank you, sir.
I started following you after I told you about that suit you had.
Oh, you did? Thank you. I appreciate that.
Is that Secret Service?
You're welcome, Marco. Sorry, I missed your comment.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Marco.
That's me. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you. Guys, this was amazing. Just got an exclusive with Gene Deal. I'm getting recognized here. It's so much love here. Hope you guys appreciate my coverage. That should go massively viral. That was Gene Deal, the main security guard for Diddy, and probably the most trusted and believed source. And I just got you an exclusive. Look. Everybody's chasing him. Secret Service Sam just has the conversation. Love you guys. Secret Service Sam out. Samson for president of TikTok.
All right, so you guys just saw that interaction, but I want to ask you all, do you find it interesting that Gene Deal hasn't been subpoenaed to testify against Diddy? I do. You know, he's been leading the charge. He has a lot of stories, and I'm pretty sure he's credible enough to get on that stand and say some things that will really, really be groundbreaking in the case. Maybe things he hasn't let us know yet that he will only say in the court of law. But it's just interesting, to say the very least, that he hasn't been subpoenaed. Now, before I leave you with this update as it pertains to Cassie's childhood friend being violated by Diddy, I do want to let you guys in on something that has been expressed to me, and it has to do with Clive Davis allegedly settling with Usher and his mom. That's what I'm hearing from credible sources that are on the grounds of New York right now covering this trial. I'm hearing that there was some backdoor settlement that took place not too long ago with Usher and his mom. Now, I don't know what it's pertaining to. They were mum on that. I don't know the details of it, but I'm hearing that right before the trial started, there was a settlement from Clive Davis involving Usher's mom and Usher. Now, I find that very strange if this is true, that Clive is settling before Diddy trial with Usher and his mom, because it makes me believe that there was something that was about to come out. Maybe the feds were going to subpoena Usher to the stand or his mom because there was a situation that took place back in the day, but I thought it only involved Diddy, where Usher allegedly had his back door split open, and had to be taken to the hospital and things.
Now, what did people say a few days ago? What did a couple of people say on here? I was lying. Well, I brought it up. I said it. A lot of y'all get on my platform and you come in and you get in your feelings and you dislike what I say. But let me tell you, me and my news crew members, man, we do this every day for hours on end. Not to mention, we grew up in an era where a lot of these people that's being mentioned was hot. A lot of my news crew members are like, they got stuff filed that happened from years and years ago, long before we got to this point. They have stuff filed that they can play back. Hey, remember when this happened in this year, and this is how I could go to this? And I'm the same way, and we bounce that off each other, man. So listen, I understand that things may be hard for a lot of you to understand that, hey, that really happened, or there's no way this could have went down. Listen, I told you a few days ago about the Usher being around Puffy Jacket at his house and living with him. And something happened to the back door of the Usher, and he had to be rushed to the hospital. And what did they say? You lie. That didn't happen. That's not true. I told you got to stop using the idolatry, man, when it comes to Puffy Jacket. He's still a human. He can do wrong. Just because he was a celebrity and got all the money, man. Right? The Flavor Camp. Thank you. The Flavor Camp. They came on here. They came on our show and said we were lying. And all we do is sit here and try to give you people the facts. And we keep hearing, I still don't. Hold on.
I still don't see no Ricardo charges. I don't know how they got there. Man, this is just a money grab. Man, these people ain't telling the truth. Man, Diddy didn't do all of that. Man, he innocent. Man, free Diddy.
It's like, yo, how many times, or not even how many times, well, yeah, how many times and for how long are you going to continuously act like you don't see that this man did a lot of this stuff, and it got covered up because of the people he was associated with? How many times you gonna do that? So when you think about, or when you hear Nice and Slow, when you hear My Way, You Make Me Wanna, those are great songs, But just know that an usher was taken advantage of. And that this guy, done some things to that young man, and I emphasize the word young man, that caused him to be hospitalized. I have to go to the emergency room because things in the back door were violated and traumatized and bleeding and split open. So the next time you come on the platform and say we lying, don't. Just save yourself. Because one thing we've prided ourselves, and we've been doing this for what, Jenny? We've been doing this for almost a year and a half, 2 years, something like that. We've been doing this. And so we've lost our platform for doing this. This very thing. We've lost the platform, our original platform, trying to bring this information out to you all. We came back on this now we got this platform, and we've had to build it from the ground up. We had to start completely over because this platform don't want us to bring you the truth, and we keep doing it. And we started completely over from the ground, I'm talking about, and still got it up out the mud, and still sitting here bringing you all these facts. And you want to come on here and get mad? Marco, this ain't a joking situation, but that's funny. That's funny, Marco. But yeah, you understand? Right, Bessie, look, they done shut us down twice, 2 times in this one show today for bringing you this work. So don't play us like that, man. I don't know what other platforms you all go on, and I don't know what all or how you all view things, but I'm gonna tell you, here is hashtag I'm gonna say it. It's not just nice t-shirts that I make. That's available for purchase too if you like it. Support the show. But that's not just this is we live by that code. We live by that creed. Hashtag we gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. I mean all of us. We gonna say it. Good, bad, indifference, your feelings get hurt, whatnot. That's not what we here for. We here to tell you the truth, and we gonna put it in the context of what it really is. Again, I don't know if those people, there's only like 2, it's a guy and a girl, I believe, and I can't remember their name. I don't know if they're still in here. It's irrelevant. And I'm not trying to give you a aha, I told you so moment, but I am. Because yet again, you come in and you say, that didn't happen, that's a lie, it's against the law. They wouldn't be out, that information wouldn't be out there. And say everything besides the fact of, whoa, maybe I need to go investigate this a little more. Facts, Bestie. Sometimes we might not agree, but one thing for sure, 2 things for certain, we're going to drop these facts on you. We're going to drop these facts on you. And we even said in one of our statements, okay, yeah, we come off as opinion heavy and conspiracy theory heavy, but in between, we give you facts. And yet again, I had no idea. When was this? When did he do this? Yesterday. Shout out to Tough News TV. He made this video yesterday. I said what I said about 2 or 3 days ago. I had no idea he was going to make this video. I had no idea about the settlement being paid to that usher and his mom. I didn't even know anything about that. But now, yesterday, what I said 2 or 3 days ago is confirmed. You say, I know we're going to get the...
But he didn't say that's what the payment was for, Mr. Breaking News.
How slow do you got to be? How slow you got to be? Do you think this man just pop out of the blue right in the timing, right before the trial start, and pay this man, well, he's a man now, he wasn't a man then, but pay this person and his mama, understand, the usher was like 14 years old, 15 years old. All right, give it one of them two. So his mom had to agree or allow him to go. And this incident happened. And so now he's coming in paying both of them. Like, hey, listen, you got this money. Stay away from the courthouse. Don't say nothing. All right? Okay? All right? You got this. You promise. You promise. If I give you this amount of money, and they call and ask you to come testify against my protege, my Booty J here, Booty J, you won't say nothing. Listen, not everybody's elevator goes to the top floor. You right, bestie. Good morning to you. You right. You understand? It just don't, and it's sad. And I believe that's why JB is crashing out. Again, I do as well. Right, best. You pinky promise. Look, I'm giving you all of this monies. You pinky you promise. Get you, nope, you promise? All right, I'm gonna get. Now you sure? If they ask you to come testify and tell what my Booty J did to your son Booty, you not gonna tell. You gonna say no. All right, I'm gonna give you. Hey, you promise. You see what I'm saying? You understand? Well, yeah. People not going. No matter what we tell them, they not gonna believe what they not gonna believe. And it's the most asinine and crazy and absurd thing ever. You right. However, I was having a talk with my bestie Angel yesterday, and her and I was messaging back and forth, and I was letting her know. No, it wasn't Angel. Her and I did talk yesterday, but that's not what I was talking to. I was talking to Chi. And I sent her an invite to come in, but she's not on here. By the way, she's starting her platform on Monday, so let's make sure we go and check it out. I forgot the name of it. I have to look it up. But and I was telling her, you're going to be great. Just remember, stay true to you. And that's what we do here. We stay true to ourselves. Regardless, you may not believe it. You may not like it. But at the end of the day, we're going to stay true to ourselves. Just like I told you, our original channel, we was ascending. We was doing good, but we was giving that work. We was telling the truth, not only about celebrity stuff, but we was also talking about that elite society. Hey, good morning, Marie. How you doing, bestie? We was also telling people about that elite society and how it worked. I was telling people about the emblems, the logos that you need to look for when you out and about throughout the day and on watching your TV show and stuff. And I'm telling you what they putting in front of you, and I'm telling you what to look for. And we was doing that on the original channel, and this platform didn't like it. Shut us down. And let me tell you how that worked. Let me tell you how I know. Because they permanently banned me once that week. And I was signed with an agent. And I let the agent go and appeal it for me, and I got it back. And then a couple of days later, I'm still doing the same thing we was doing. I was on the platform. I was on this. And I put the phone down. My little girl came in and asked me to make her a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I walked to the kitchen. I left my phone in the bedroom on my bed. I went to the kitchen. I made my little girl a peanut butter jelly sandwich. I came back to the room. I picked my phone up. I had a white box on it, and it told me I was permanently banned again. And so now I had to recreate and lost a lot, man. I lost a lot from that. And then I had to go and recreate another profile. I had to make another profile, which is this one. But what I did, though, this time, this one is this platform for this right here. And then I got a backup page for my political stuff. Because they definitely didn't like the political stuff. You know, I don't go with their ideology. Right? And so, but yet again, and now we built up here. We're building up on this right here. And now look where we are. And I'm gonna tell you how it's crazy. Bessie, thank you. You're right. We did it, baby. We did it. And I tell you what, even though they tore us down, even though they took our previous channel away from us and banned us permanently, and we recreated this new channel right here, or we created this new channel. We didn't recreate. We had to start over. We created this new channel right here. We've got more success on this one than we had on the other. But at the end of the day, we didn't stop doing that work. We haven't stopped doing our work. And we won't do it now. As you see, they've shut us down twice today. And I know you've been listening. We haven't said anything out the way. We haven't said anything disrespectful. We've kept it TT friendly. And they still shut us down twice. This platform don't want you to spit facts. But by damn it, I'm gonna do it. By damn it, hashtag, I'm gonna say it. I love all of you. And like Bessie said, we can agree to disagree. But what we not gonna do is stop giving you this work. We not gonna stop giving you this work. And if we're wrong, we're gonna come to you and admit we was wrong. You understand? Dimple Cheeks, you said I get flagged every single day, 5 or 6 times a day. It's annoying. It is. And for the smallest thing. But you know what that means? That's truth that you telling. Facts, Bessie. Can't stop, won't stop dropping these facts. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. And those of you who do it with me, I appreciate it. I was just telling Angel, when I said I was talking to Angel, I was telling her the same thing yesterday. Hey, I appreciate you doing the same. Because listen, my initial introduction to Angel was on my man's Chris platform. Shout out to Chris. I love him. And H4L Life. What is it? Yeah, that's it. H4L. He's been on here before, but his podcast, right? And that's where I met her at, and she was assertive and she was dumb. She didn't let guys overtalk her or take advantage. And I love that about her. And then we also had some views. And the thing about it, we disagreed on some things too. But I love her. It's not like we was like, she don't agree with what I'm saying. Hold.
She didn't agree with what I said, so I'm not gonna talk to her no more. You mean, Angel?
Nah, it wasn't none of that. She right there. And she's in here. I love that woman. Never met her, but I love her. She stands on business. He said, but I mean, you are. No, she just don't take no mess. I even told her yesterday when we was talking, listen, I got to get you a shirt. You embody what hashtag I'm going to say it mean. I'm going to tell you this truth. Whether you like it or don't like it, I'm going to tell you. You understand? I'm going to stay true to me. And she helps other people. Regardless of what she's been through, she wants to help other people. You get me? Love that woman. Marie says, yes, one time I agree with Puffy Jacket. Can't stop, won't stop. Yeah, that right. You're right. That's one thing I can agree with him on. You understand? He should have stopped, but he didn't. You know what I mean? But yeah, people. So I didn't mean to go off on a tangent, and I know I got to hurry up. I got to go help my little sister. I do. But I want to get that out there because you just heard it. They literally came on the platform on our show and tried to say that I was lying about what happened to that usher. when he was a kid. Mind you, I'm here in the A. This ATL, this is my city. We used to see the usher at the mall, Gwinnett Place Mall back in the 90s. But right before the blower, right before the Nice and Slow and You Remind Me and all of that. I didn't know what had happened to him. But it was something. You get me? I've tried to tell you all, man. I have a cousin that's in the industry. He still is. I mean, they do concerts sometimes. It ain't the same as what they was when they originally came out. But that's what I'm saying is, I've already heard stuff that goes on with this industry. The dark part of it, the underbelly of it. So some things that are said, I know because I already heard in the 90s. I know because I already seen how it ruined my cousin's marriage. Rest in heaven, Whitney and Bobby Chris. I've already seen how allowing your marriage to be exposed to the world was the wrong. I can't tell you how many times. We've already said it. That's where it went wrong at. That's exactly where they went wrong at, is doing that show. After that, man, I'm just saying, it's wild. It's wild, man. So yeah, I got to get going. I got to end the show. I got to go help my little sister. I absolutely have to go help my little sister because she's trying to have stuff moved out of the house, a new bed put and stuff like that, and we got to paint. So I need to get going. Probably gonna spend the weekend over there, so it's not gonna be a show for the rest of the weekend. We'll come back on Monday, Lord willing. We're able to, you know. Yeah, and they had bills to pay, and I'm not gonna lie. I mean, they was offered a nice bag for it. But the thing about it, they already didn't want Whitney with him because the media had already, the media and that group had already painted Cousin Bobby to be the bad boy. You know what I mean? You get me? And so, and they had painted Whitney to be the church going nice, and no shade to cousin Whitney. I mean, I'm not saying she wasn't a great person, because she was. But what I'm saying is they had images that was already, Child Davis had already created that image for Cousin Whitney. So, and then they had already made the image of Cousin Bobby being, you know, America's bad boy, and so they didn't want them together, and she chose to stay with him. And so going in, it was, you know, it's just already, yeah. Shout out to Patterson, New Jersey, right? You know. So, and that's the thing. That was one of the things that bothered us so much back in the day, because it's like, man, they keep, you know, they act like he did this to her, when in reality, Whitney was already thugger. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. She had a loving and caring heart. I'm not saying she was funny. She was great company, but it wasn't like she was innocent. And I love you. You know I love you. And I'm going to stop. I know I'm going to stop. But I love you. You know? But the thing about it is, she had already knew that life. And at the end of the day, they loved each other. Yes, they was dysfunctional. You know, a lot of relationships are dysfunctional. Majority of relationships at one point in time or at some point in time is dysfunctional. Yes, it was some things that happened that shouldn't have happened between them or in front of Lil Cuz. But it wasn't like they didn't love each other. But the show really put the nail in the coffin. That was there was just no recover from that. And you know, too many things were was exposed. They shared too many intimate moments with the public, and then it allowed other entities from outside entities to come in and help destroy that marriage. You know, Jenny said every couple goes through ups and downs. No one is innocent. That part right there, Bestie. That part right there, Bestie. So, hey, thank you all for joining me for today's show. I appreciate it. I'm sorry that it's brief, but I did make a commitment to go help, so that's what I'm going to do. Again, no show will be here on Monday, Lord willing, and I'm sure we'll have a lot to catch up on. I'm sure, because we got today, especially with Kid Cudi taking the stand today. Like, we have a lot. We're going to have a lot to catch up on. Let me see. Is he already there? Not that I see. I don't think he is. You know what? Hold on. We're gonna go and check something real quick, like before we sign off. We're gonna go and see if they started yet, because it's not saying it on there. But we are going to look elsewhere and see before we conclude. Maybe. Okay, Kaplan's on the stand right now. So, is that? Hold on. What's Kid Cudi? Hold on. What's his real name? Let's find out what's his real name, because this could be him on the stand, but I'm not sure. Okay, yeah, no, this is not him. This is somebody by the name last name Kaplan. I don't know who that is. But let's read. Let's read real quick. Y'all don't mind if we read for a second, do you? Give me 1 second. So, a minute ago, Agnophilia, your job, what was it? Kaplan says, for example, Puffy Jacket would say, "We are going to leave the house." He meant 3 to 5 minutes. I had a checklist for the bags and toiletry. It was a bad look in me if something wasn't there. Okay, before they says, what did Blue Flame do? That's Agnophilia asks, what did Blue Flame do? Kaplan says, marketing for Ciroc. What is that, Diego? They own Johnny Walker and others. Puffy Jacket set up a marketing entity for Ciroc. Okay. Not sure who this is, but that's who's on the stand right now. So yeah, Kid Cudi is not there yet, as of yet. So we'll have to see how that plays. Let's keep an eye on that for today. But yep, you all enjoy your weekend, and like I said, Lord willing, we'll be back here Monday. Let's go to prayer real quick before we log off here. All right. Heavenly Father, we bow our heads to give you thanks and let you know that we are not worthy of your love, yet we appreciate the blessings of the love that you give us. I would pray that you keep arms of security and health around those as we go our separate ways for the day. And we just want you to know that we give thanks to you for everything. Like, I know that there's times we get consumed with life and events that's going on in life, and we don't stop to give you your glory. And Father, we would just like to take this time right now to do so, to give you your glory and let you know that we do know and we do have faith in you, that you are the light, you are the truth. And the only way we make it to dwell with you amongst your eternal kingdom is to just continuously try to live the values that you speak about in your great book, Lord. And Father, even though we fall short of the glory, we know that because you sent your Son down here in the fleshly form, that he died on the cross and resurrected in 3 days, that is the way and the path back to your kingdom. That even though when we do fall short of the glory, all we have to do is ask for forgiveness and repent. And Father, your love never sways either way, regardless of what we do. So Father, as we conclude today, we pray that the things that were said on today's show are appeasing in your eyes and not against your will. And Father, if we did state anything that is against your will, Father, pray that you come to us and inform us that that is not what you would like for us to do, Father. And I promise you we will work to do to change that. It's these things we ask in your name, Jesus Christ. Let us all say amen. All right. You all have a beautifully blessed weekend. Be safe. Yes, Angel, have a beautiful, blessed, beautiful day. You do the same. You do the same. And before I go, thank you all for the gifts. Thank you to my panelists. And thank you all. You could have went to anybody else's show, but you chose to hang out with us, and you are appreciated. Peace and blessings. This is Mr. Breaking News, your self-proclaimed favorite news reporter, logging off from the newsroom.